I'm Helen, I'm a friend of Carnegie Library and I'm on the committee, and the Friends have always been behind using the building for really to raise revenue, to reduce the overall bill. And we've always made it clear we would work with anybody that did anything to keep the building going with the library at its heart. Where we part company with Lambeth Council is that they want to take the library out of the heart of the building and they want to put a gym in and have a few books to the side and say that's saving the library. We're saying that's destroying the library. The reason why this is loved so much is because it has got a library at the heart of it, and because it's got a library at the heart of it, I think we can do so much more with the rest of the building because people just love it. They should be very, very proud of their library services and they should support them, and the fantastic librarians have come up with a fantastic plan that will make all the required savings. But Lambeth not only won't give it a go, they won't talk to us about it. They have this pretend community group that they've set up, which basically are all their old ex-councillor chums, that they're actually going to transfer the building to these chums and then not talk to us. And that has driven us to do this. I don't want to be here. I've got far better things to do than sleep on a parquet flooring. As much as I admire that parquet flooring, I really don't want to sleep on it. Well, basically, there are competing plans that Lambeth have put forward, and they don't seem to be able to sort out which one they want. One plan is to have a community space where the library is and a few old books to the side. Another plan is to have, and then garage out the basement and put in a gym, which would just cost millions and millions and millions. And the reason why they say they're closing the library is because of money, and yet their solution is to spend millions. So we can't understand it at all. And the other plan is actually to put a gym actually where the library is. And obviously the real worry is, especially if they garage out the basement, which will cost a fortune, and put a gym in there, and then the room with a few books in fails because the computer will never work without a librarian to put it right, the printer would always be breaking down, kids won't be allowed in there, under 16-year-olds kids won't be allowed in there. I don't think women will find it particularly attractive to lounge around in an empty room where anybody can walk in and it's unmanned. It will fail, it will be pathetic, it will fail, but it won't be used. We feel that maybe eventually they'll just say, well, that hasn't really it's not really being used, let's close the books. And then they'll say, and the gym's not doing very well, because there's so many gyms around in this area. They'll say, well, the gym's not doing very well either. So suddenly they will have a closed gyms, they'll have a closed little library, well, not even a library room, a book room. And what will they be left with? A Grade 2 fabulous building. And really, perhaps they might look to developers then. So that would be a terrible worry, really, isn't it? And also the developers would be absolutely delighted that somebody's gouged out a basement. They did try to close the library in 1999. They then, at that point, just announced, we're closing the library and selling it. Well, there was absolute pandemonium, revolution. Everybody went mad. They had to back off. It was very humiliating for them. So I feel it's unfinished business. And what they learned from that experience, what they should have learned from that experience, is to listen and talk and work with local people. Because, most people are Labour voters anyway, so we're behind them. But they won't listen to us. But the lesson that they took away from it is never say you're going to close the library, repackage it up as a different library service. So their message now is that they're saving the library and increasing the hours by putting it with a gym, but it will be a non-staff library in a side room. We're saying that's closing the library, because a non-staffed room with books in without a librarian is not a library. So we think that's... They know they can't actually close the library because people go mad, so they're downgrading it. So it's a death of 1,000 cuts.